Today, we're going to talk about 10 habits making me a young millionaire. We have hundreds of thousands of dollars already. We're going to be millionaires soon, and I want to help you do the same. Let's get into it. If you want more videos on mastering your money, your mindset, your habits, and your emotions along the way to be happy and successful, feel free to click subscribe. The first habit is reading. Readers become leaders. The more you read, the more you look at books. I have books all around, and I'm constantly going to the library and listening to audiobooks, etc. That is where the information is. If you're in school, you have a textbook that teaches you, and your teacher goes through it to teach you the content. And so if you want to learn anything, it can be anything in the world. It's in a book. Read. I also really wanted it. I might be different. I might be unique. I know some people want wealth and riches and things like that, but I really wanted it. I desired it. And Think and Grow Rich talks about the importance of desire. To get anything you want in your life, you have to desire it. You have to want it. You actually have to have a burning desire. It has to be so strong in order to get it. And so if you want to be a millionaire, you have to want it. Ali Abdaal even just did a video, my YouTube coach, 6 million subscribers. He said how to get rich, to have an unhealthy obsession with getting rich. I don't think you have to have an unhealthy obsession necessarily, but it might be more than average and more than the norm. You got to want it. If you want something, you can get it. Writing my goals down has been single-handedly the most important thing that I've done, and doing some introspection and actually asking, what the heck do I want? But there's a lot of research on this, and there's actually a Harvard study that showed, and they tracked the graduates from Harvard, and the ones that actually wrote their goals down made a ton more money and actually achieved their goals way more than the other people. And so you're actually more likely to achieve your goals if you write them down. There's a statistic, I can put it right here. And so I started defining, what do I want? And I started writing it down on paper. And then guess what? I checked all of these things off. I write about it in my book, but I just checked it off. I even wasn't a licensed teacher until recently, and I had to pass certain exams, and I'd struggled to pass some of the exams and things of that nature. And I just even wanted to work in a certain area, in a certain location, at a certain school. There's a ton of things that I wanted. I could write a whole list, but I wrote it down. And when I wrote it down, I started taking action towards the thing, and I checked it off, and I checked it off, and I checked it off, and I checked it off. So if you want something, start writing it down. I also believe in vision boards. Start looking at pictures or creating the pictures of what you want. The more clearly you can see it, or the more you know what you want, the more likely you are to achieve it. And I want to share a quick aside. When I first started teaching, I left software engineering, and I was maybe like 24 or 25, and I was teaching. And I just started writing down on one of my breaks, like I would write down how much money we had. I've always been a saver, but I would write it down. I was like, I want to get to this goal and have 100,000, and then we're going to do this. And that is literally where it all started. It started there in a notebook, writing it down. And I've watched our net worth just accumulate from hundreds of thousands, 100,000, 200,000, 3, and just go up and up and up. And it just started with writing it down. Investing. So there's a lot of principles before you get to investing, and there's even better ones that I started learning about. But if you want to build wealth, if you want your money to compound and get millions of dollars, you got to invest. And the stock market and a low-cost index fund is one of the best things you can do. I have a full video on how to invest for beginners if you're interested, and I'm hopefully going to get an ebook out on this soon. But investing is critical. And I can show you here how it's so powerful, even investing $500 a month. It doesn't do a ton at first, but eventually you hit the power of snowballing and compounding, and you just make way more money than you have invested. Way more money. Invest. This is how your money can work for you instead of against you. And you lose money 2 to 3% with inflation every single year. And so you want your money working. Get your money working. You work so hard. Don't just let your money sit on the sidelines and relax and drink martinis. The 50-30-20 rule is really helpful. It's a budgeting principle. I have a lot of budgeting principles that I've learned, and this is where I started when I first got into financial education. But you want to reverse it. And you want to reverse it because your savings rate and your investing rate really dictates things, especially if you don't make a ton of money yet. if you are saving more, this is one path. There's a ton of paths. Like you could have a blanket amount of money and you're just investing all of it into your knowledge, your skills, and your education, which I now know is a really great method. For us, we did continue working on our education and increasing our income, but I also on the side, we really lowered our spending and increased our savings rate. The 50, 30, 20 rule states that you want to spend 50% of your income on your needs, 30% on your wants, and 20% on saving and investing. And this is a great tool. If you just follow that and are able to save 20% and invest it in the stock market, you will definitely become a millionaire in your lifetime. If you want to do it sooner, which is what we had wanted to do, we really had to get really specific and clear and lower our spending while increasing our income. And I'll be super frank with you, there's no one size fits all. There are definitely habits and certain things that you can follow and basic principles in investing yourself and assets, living below your means, but there's different paths. And so you can choose whichever path works for you. My goal is to share all the different ways, what I've done, what we're doing, and what I'm learning even now so that it can help fast track you and you can find your path in your way. Going along with this, I had talked about spending less. And so a lot of people we were slowly building our income and making more and more money. We had started with like $40,000 a year and slowly doubled it and made more and more and more and just kept increasing, right? Which was really helpful. But you could make $250,000, $500,000, $1 million and not live below your means. And so it's a really good core principle to learn. Sometimes you do have to spend a little bit more if you're going the route of really investing in yourself and your education and skills. You got to do that at first. You might have to spend the money to make the money, and then you can like pay off student loans or whatever. Do it in a smart way, right? You don't want to be $200,000 in student loan debt. I know for my master's degree, where I can make an extra $6,000 to $8,000 a year, I think it's almost $7,000. It only costs like $14,000, $15,000 to do the master's degree. And so I made it back in like 2 to 3 years, if that. And so be smart with what you're doing too, and do it in the best way that you can. But no, just because you make $300,000 does not mean that you're actually living a rich life or that you actually have extra money lying around. Some people spend still above their means. You see this on Ramit Sethi's show and other people who people are in so much debt and you don't want to be in that place. I've talked about books, but it can be from anything. It could be from books. It could be from courses. It could be from podcasts. It could be from mentors, other people. You got to seek out the information. I started looking online and started finding people and looking at books and learning from people who either have achieved what I wanted, who were on their own journeys, the books, all of that. Like feed your mind with knowledge so that you can apply it, right? Knowledge is power, and knowledge applied is even more powerful. If you actually do the things that people are telling you, or they spent 20 years learning something and you could figure it out and take what they learned and do it in 30 days, why not do it? There's knowledge all around. It is so powerful. I'm a huge advocate for knowledge, learning, and education. I went to a lot of thrift stores and we lived way below our means, right? And so when I did spend money, we got couches, we got all sorts of things. And maybe thinking back in hindsight, I'm like, ooh, was that a good decision? Or a used couch? Like that could have been a little gross. But clothes, things like that, it really gently used things. It wasn't that big of a deal. And if I wanted to go on a shopping spree, I could. Now, do you have to do that? Can you make room in your budget for clothes? Or I talk about that. Like if you like going to Target, give yourself $100 Target budget or something like that. You don't have to deprive yourself. I definitely think I went very far into like more depriving. I wouldn't even buy myself new socks and they got holes in it and stuff. And socks are like $10. So I can be very intense and very focused and very driven. And so I was willing to do that, and I was fine, and everything's good, right? And there's certain things you shouldn't scrimp on. I'm just saying that, and health-wise, or at least I believe. I think shoes I should have invested more in, and I scrimped a little bit too much. So just be mindful with where you're scrimping and saving and reducing costs, because you do want to enjoy your life a little bit too. I mean, there's beauty in if you're willing to sacrifice and live like no one else will for a little bit. You can live like a lot of people don't for a long time. And so I'm definitely reaping the rewards of being so intense and living so much below the means and thrifting and doing all that stuff and taking hand-me-downs, we had a lot of hand-me-downs, which was very, very nice. But it definitely, you might not like that. You might want to have a little bit more of a mix. So it's up to you. You can find room in the budget for that, or figure out how to make more money so you can have that extra money. Oh, the ego. I'm sure I still have ego in me, right? Like, I feel like that is just a part of life and part of the human experience. But the more you can minimize it and reduce it, the better it is. And the better off you will be, and the more money you can have, because you're not worrying about keeping up with somebody else. You're not trying to impress others. Oh, they went on this vacation. Oh my gosh, I need to go on this vacation. Oh, they have this house. Oh my gosh, I don't feel good about myself, or like I feel less than. You have to feel comfortable about yourself. The more inner work you do, the better off you'll be. That's one reason I talk about it and talk about the inner work and talk about your emotions, your mindset, and how you think. Like, I studied all of it, but I've also just studied myself and experienced it myself and had to do a lot of that inner work so that I can have a different outer world. Let go of the ego. I know this isn't poker, but go all in. Go all in for your goals. If you really want it, you got to desire it. You got to want it. Like, I wanted it. And so I was willing to do the work for it. And a lot of times millionaires, they sacrifice. So instead of just setting goals, people say, set sacrifices. What are you willing to sacrifice? What are you willing to give up? Right? Like, if you want to be a parent, you're going to have to give things up. You're going to gain a lot, but no, there's some sacrifices that you have to make. Any good thing that you're going to get is going to require that sacrifice or that opposite side. Even going to the gym or trying to be healthier. Yeah, you can still eat some fun meals or things every once in a while, but you're going to have to change your discipline and change your habits. And that's not easy, right? But it's possible. And so be willing to do that. Be willing to do the hard work, because you will get greater rewards. The more you do things that people aren't willing to do, even though this isn't about other people, but if you do the things like wake up early, if you read a ton of books, if you decide to heal yourself and work on yourself, if you let go of the addictions with food or with other things that you're addicted to or you're held back by, if you work on all of that, you're going to completely transform your life and live like a lot of people can't. And that's my goal for all of you, to free yourself and to be able to live abundantly, peacefully, healthfully, and meaningfully. I hope this video was helpful for you. Feel free to check out this video on 15 habits of successful people, or coming soon, this video part 2 of 10 more habits making me a millionaire and kind of the next level of what I'm doing.